Okay, so we were looking for the recursive CTE yesterday, right? And we created one table called organization chart, okay, and which is having the data like this. Okay, so it is having the data in hierarchical format. Okay, so we have top management like CEO, then under that we are having three managers, okay, or we can say three vice presidents, okay, Bob, Carol, and David. Then under each of them, we are having some managers. Okay. And under manager, we are having the executives. Okay. So like this tree structure we are having and data we have stored. Okay. So using this, we can find out all the like all entire hierarchy in the organization, who is top level management, who is like second level, who is third level and fourth levels, and so on. Okay. Using recursive CT. Okay, so there are two things we are having in recursive CT. One is an anchor member, which will always return a initial level of the data, or we can say the top level of the data. Okay, and this will be the starting point of recursion. So keep in mind, recursion is nothing but executing the same query again and again. Okay, so we are like we will be having a top level data, or we can say the like which is the anchor member of the this common table expression, and then recursive member which will be like repeatedly applies the logic to return the next level of the data. Okay, so up to what time it will repeatedly run? Until and unless we get all the rows. Okay, and until and unless we will not be getting any rows after execution, it will stop the execution at that time. Okay, so these are the two things we are having, and we have seen like together these parts are combined using union all. So the anchor member and recursive member will be combined using union all to get the final result set. Okay, so now there is a question like you have to find the reporting structure of the data within the organization. Okay, if you see, if I have run this query, we are getting the data in mismatch format. Like we are having employees. Okay, we have a vice president, then we have the managers, then we have uh, sales managers. Okay, and then under sales manager we have executive. Again, sales manager under executive we are having. So I want this data to be uh, in a structured format, or we can say in a proper reporting structure format. Okay, I should have the CEO, then under that we should have the managers, under manager we should have the executives, and so on. Okay, so like this I want the data. So for that what I did here is I have written the recursive CT, what it is doing. So the first is an anchor member. So first will be top level manager. So we know like wherever there is a manager ID is null, that person is a top level manager, or we can say it is a highest in the management, right? Because there is no manager on top of it. Okay, so that will always return a first row in the data set. Okay, then second we have to run. Okay, second we have to run this as a recursive city. So now while running the recursive city, okay, so this is, keep in mind, this will be always there in the recursive city syntax. Okay, so there will be one uh, like one row that will be getting in from the anchor member, which will be the top level. So we'll be giving this as a 0 or maybe 1 also you can give. Okay, as a top level manager, and after that whatever data you will be getting, so for that data you will be increasing the level, which means okay, you are finding the like in this case you are finding the employees who are reporting directly to this manager. Okay, so after that you will finding the employees who is reporting indirectly to this manager. Okay, how this is working? So we are referring the CT itself, like whatever CT we are having. So CT itself we are referring on manager ID. So what will be there in this CT there? So in this CT we will be having one row. Okay, so this employee ID from the CTE, EH is nothing but the CTE. So the employee ID from the CTE, we are joining with the organization chart table with a manager ID. So in organization chart table, wherever there is a manager ID 1 we are having, so that means those employees are reporting to these allies, right? So normally what we will get 3 vice presidents under this, right? So we will get that 3 rows here. Now, how this is working one by one, we will see. Before that, I will just run this query, what it is getting. Okay, so you see here, this is a top level management, which having level 0. After that, there are 3 vice presidents. So those are the second layer of the, okay, there are 4, okay, 3 vice presidents we are having. This is the second layer of the management, right? Vice presidents. Under vice presidents, there are managers, which is a third layer. Okay, and under managers, again, we are having the executives. Okay, so no, this is yeah, this is the executives. Okay, so this is the managers for the HR. Then again, we have some managers for lead. Okay, these are the leads for the, what we can say, for like each of the department, like front end, back end. Those are the managers we are having. And under this, now under this 10, 11, 19, whatever the employees we are having, so those are the third level, what we can say, the employees. Okay, so how exactly this is being calculated? Like one by one, we are evaluating each of them. Okay, so what it will do first, it will, the first iteration, during the first iteration, it will find out the, okay, it will find out the manager. If, for example, let's say anchor member, we are going to find out. Okay, and like we are going one by one. Like I don't want to go to for all the data. Let's say we are going to find out the employees who are working under David's supervision. Okay, so there is a one employee we are having called a David. Let's see. Okay, so we have this vice president of HR. Okay, David. So I want to see all the employees, maybe directly or indirectly reporting to David. Now let's see here itself first. So this is the first person, and who are reporting to this person, that we have to find out. So employee ID of David is 4. So we need to find out who are all the employees who are reporting to David, right? So we can see from the data, here is one manager we are having who is reporting to employee ID 4, right? So this person Trent is reporting to David. Now we have to find out indirect report is as well, right? So indirect report is what we can do. We can check who is reporting to employee ID 16, right? So employee ID 16, again, there are 2 employees we are having who are reporting to HR manager, Trent. Okay, so to David, there is one person who is directly reporting, but 2 more persons who are indirectly reporting, right? So it is managers in the sense there is an indirect report, right? So this is what we need to find out. Let's say you have to find out using left join or self join who is reporting to David. So how you can find out? Okay, let's say you have to find out the employees who are reporting to David. Select from dbo.organization chart. Okay, you write again join with same table. You'll give the name as a B. Okay, on what will be the clause A dot what will be there from the organization chart table. So from this, we have to look for the manager ID to the B dot
employee ID.
emp ID.
in IT.
Okay, now we will get a dot, let's say imp name. Okay, and let's say b dot imp name as manager name. Okay, so I think we will get this data. Okay, so these are reporting to CEO. Then we have to look for the David, right? So he's reporting to David. So we can say where imp name, like I would say David. Okay, say m dot b dot manager name is David. Okay, so now you see here, we will get only the direct report is using this join, right? Because we'll be looking based on the manager ID, and there is only one employee who is directly reporting to the David. Okay, who is a client, but we will not get the indirect report is, and that's why we need to use the recursive CTE. Okay, which will dynamically look for all the employees who are working under David directly or indirectly. With the join, you will get only the direct report is employee. Okay, we have seen Trent is directly reporting to David. When we run this simple query, we have seen like, okay, so David is vice president and Trent is directly reporting to David. Okay, but there are some employees who are reporting to Trent, which means they are indirectly reporting to David. Okay, so that data we are not getting here. Okay, so for that we need to run the recursive CT and we will get that. So what will happen first? If you write the query, we will get the anchor member first. Anchor member is nothing but who is the top level manager. So you know, like top level manager is this, what is his name? David. Okay, so you write a query. Let's say I will be writing a query here with CTE as select, let's say employee ID, employee name, manager ID, and I will say one as label. Okay, from organization chart table where employee name is like David. So with this, you will get the first row of the data. Okay, who is the top management? We got it. This as a label. Now, this is anchor member, top level management. Now you have to use union all. Okay, and now the query you write is using the same CTE. Okay, first you need to take the data from the organization chart and join that with the, let's from organization chart. I'll give some name O. Join this with CTE. Okay, this is the name as it is CTE I have taken, and CTE. So join with C on O dot. Now how we have to join this? O should be always, we'll be having a manager ID. Okay, so we'll be getting the manager ID is equal to C dot employee ID. Okay, now here we need the same set of data because union all, we know like union all required same number of columns, same kind of data type, right? If we are not having that, it will fail there, right? So we have to increase this level. So level plus one we can mention here, EH level plus one, and it will increase the level from the previous cycle. So not E, we are having this as a C. Okay, other columns we are referring from the organization table. Okay, and now you can simply select the data from the CTE. Select star from CTE. Okay, so now we will see there should be 4 employees will be having invalid column name manager ID. Okay, what is the column name we are having in the organization table? Is manager ID only.
It's line 253. There's no A, MANA. The second one.
Okay, here. Thank you. Okay. So you see here now, we'll be getting the top level management, the direct report is, and then indirect report is. Okay, so like this, it will run or it will execute the query until and unless we get the last recursion in the dataset. Now we will break it down to see how this works. Okay, so we know like first anchor member will always return a top level employee, right? We got the top level employee now. Now in the second query, so this whatever data we are having, so that will be stored in the CTE. Okay, even though the CTE is not completely executed, initially it will store into the CTE. And now that row, this particular row, we are referring into the union all statement. Okay, now what it will do, it will take the data from the organization chart table. Okay, it will join with the this row, which is available in the CTE during the first execution. Okay, it will try to join based on the manager ID. So wherever there is an uh, manager ID 4 we are having. Okay, so this we are looking for the employee ID. So employee ID 4 and the manager ID 4 into the organization table, it will take that data. So during the first recursion, we will get just okay. So we will get like this. So employee ID 4 and manager ID 4. So this will be joined and we get the print as a row. This row we will get. Okay. Then it will do the second recursion. Okay. So first recursion now we got like it will look for the data where manager ID is 4 and then we get the record. Now first recursive call, wherever there is a manager ID 4 we are having that data we will be getting. So trend is we are getting. Now second recursion. Okay. During the second recursion, now we have this row in the CTE, right? This row in the CTE. Now again it will look for employee ID is equal to manager ID. And there are 2 rows we will be getting. Okay. In the result set. If let's say there are one more employee we are having who is reporting to employee 18. So that will try to match employee ID equal to 18 and manager ID is equal to 18. So we get that employee as well. We will get that employee as well. So like this, it will use the same CTE to get the final result set. Okay, so first it is storing some row. That row is referred into the next statement. Now whatever data we got into the second iteration, like after executing this statement, so that data will be referenced again into the same CTE because we are using CTE in the join here. So same data we will get again and again for the joining and we will get that final result set with all the reports. Okay, so this is how it will execute. Even if you see, we are having some examples into the AdventureWorks database as well here. So let's say, yeah, here employee managers we are having. Okay, so here also you see we are having, if let's say you are here, we are having some parameters used. Okay, so we can find out for any employee. Let's say you want to find out for, okay, you want to find out for particular employee. Let's say employee ID 120. Okay, so let's say this is my top level employee, employee ID 120, and now I want to find out who are the all people who is reporting to this employee ID 120. So again, the same employee CTE I'm referring here. Okay, based on the organization node. Now this is one of the different, because we know the organization node column. What is the data type of that organization node? It is some what was that? So for that we are having this get ancestor. So while storing the data only, it is being stored in the hierarchical format. Okay, so the data type of that column is hierarchy only. Okay, employee, yeah. Okay, so hierarchy, like we are having the hierarchy ID only. Okay, so that's the reason we are using this one of the function here to get the data. Get ancestor is the function we are having to get the previous employee. So they are using that. But if you don't have this function, we need to join based on the employee ID or manager ID and to get the data. But currently the data is stored in the hierarchy format only. So they're using this function. Let's check some other. Yeah. Mm, yeah, here we have. Okay, let's say from this bill of material, we have to find out the any one product ID. Okay, and for that product ID, we need to find out the sub products as well. Like what are the sub products of that main products? So that they are finding out here. Okay, I just moved the this join condition. Sorry, this date conditions here. Okay, so let's say product ID. What are the product IDs we are having? Okay, so any one product we can check. So let's say I'm checking this bearing ball. Okay, and where product ID. So under this two, okay, this is the one product we are having. Now we have to check the sub product table or something. What is that table name? Bill of material. Okay, where product ID is equal to 2. No problem. B component ID. Okay. So you see here under this component ID 2 is we are having, and it is the third level of the bill of material. So under this component ID, if there are any more components we'll be having, so that all we will get using this CT. Currently I don't see anything we are having. So let's say product ID 2 I will be using here. And if I this without where clause, so what I will get, we will just see. Okay, so nothing is there because we may not have the data, so which we can check any random product. We will see. Let me execute this. It is not valid. Yeah. So see here, we are getting this component ID and all the products under it who is referring to that particular component ID. Okay, so this is the recursion level 0 we are saying, like, so in the initial recursion only we are getting all those records who are directly part of this product assembly, one assembly itself. Okay, so normally what this CT or the recursive CT do is it will find out the first level of data, and that data will be referred into the union all statement in the next recursion. Now whatever data will be getting into that second execution, so that data will be again referred into the third execution. Okay, the data we are getting into the third execution, again that will be referred into the fourth execution. So until and unless we will not get any rows in the result set, this will goes on executing again and again. Okay, it will stop once we did not get any rows after executing this, it will stop automatically. Okay, but if you want to give if you want to give a specific number of execution, let's say you want to execute this only 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times, so that also you can mention using the max recursion option. Okay, so max recursion is like if you want to execute this, like let's say 2 times, so you can give the max recursion. So maximum recursion, I am just executing this 2 times. Okay, if you want to go up to 4 level, you can give this as a 4. So max recursion option we are having, uh, which is used to execute the recursive CTE for that many number of times, that much number of times we can use this or execute this recursive CTE. Okay, so we can explicitly give the number of executions as well using this max recursion option. Okay, so this is CTE. What I'll do, so give some examples. So you try to execute this or try to run that queries, you will get to know what is CTE and how it is working. Okay, so with this, with example, like I'll give some examples to write down the queries and solve those using CTEs. Some of them should will be like recursive CTEs as well. So you will get to know exactly how it is working. Okay. So I think this we have seen yesterday. Okay, then I think that's it for the CTE. I'll just share this and try to write some queries and try to create the tables maybe. Okay, if you don't have any question, we'll move to the next topic.
So I have a question of our here. Which one is this? The comment table expression or city table. That's the first one. So whether I
Okay.
missed or this time of this query, the
Which one?
go.
I'm sorry.
Insert go. What is the meaning of go in this query?
Okay, yeah. Go in this query. No. So go is like used to stop the batch of the code. Okay. So it will distinguish the below code, like whatever the code we are having and the code that we are stopping here. Let me show you. So which query we were looking?
The first one. Yeah, go here as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So go is like it is stopping, it is mentioning this as a separate or individual query. Okay. So in case, let's say, I'm just taking this data to one more data this query. Okay. So I'm going to execute this query here. Okay. And we have this table is already there. So I'll write a drop command. And here also I will just write the drop command if it exists. Okay, now what is the significance of go? We will see. I am just removing this go here. Okay. And here also let's say I remove this. Okay. Now intentionally I am just trying to have the this error here. Okay. And we know these both the tables are just dropping those 2 tables. Okay, both the tables I have dropped, and I know there are no tables present into the database now. So let's start from this. And then select start from department. Okay, so both of these table, I don't think we have dropped this table and it is not present into both of the in the database. Okay, so I'll comment it for this now, and now I will execute this query. Okay, we know like the first create statement, it is not having any error, right? For the
Yeah.
department tables. The
Mhm.
second table employee, it is having some error which I was intentionally added. So when I execute this query, you will see it is saying incorrect syntax near ascending. Okay, so it is showing the incorrect syntax here somewhere. We have the
Mhm.
syntax issue, but we know there was no error into this particular query. So it should have created the table. Okay, but let's check if the department table is created. It is not created. Okay, why? Because it is not created, even though there is no error in this. Okay, it is not created because we executed this part of the query, the entire part of the query as a single batch by selecting
Okay,
each
so
of the
if
queries.
we want to run it separately, it will create. So if we want go
Yeah, so
entire.
if now I just mention this as a go here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and now I will select same thing, like both of the queries I'm selecting here,
Mm-hmm.
and the error is same. We have the error here and I'm running this query now. Okay, and now we will check whether the table is created. You can see the table is
Create.
created.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what this Go does is this Go will consider the code above this is a single batch. Okay, so
Okay.
no matter if you have any error below, after here, up to here, the execution will be completed if there is no error.
So it's gonna run the code on batch wise then.
Right,
So for example, if we have the multiple go and we have error in middle of any table, if we have three table and we have error in two and there is no error in three, so it will create both table, right? One and two.
right.
Okay,
Correct. So
only
it will
two.
create both of the tables. So this particular go statement, okay, it is not a SQL command actually, but it is a batch separator. We can say it will separate the batch of the code, okay, in SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio.
Mm.
Okay, so what is particular this Go will do is it will tell this management studio, this SSMS to execute all the SQL statements written above this line as one batch.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, so that is what this Go is. And this will like this I did not written this intentionally. So when we create any table using this object explorer, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that will come here. We can intentionally also write, but when I script this table, right, like create to SQL Server will automatically append that Go at the end. Not only for tables, it is for any database object like procedure function, whatever we use. Whenever you create this kind of object using Object Explorer, create the scripts using Object Explorer, this
Mm-hmm.
Go will be appended at the end. Okay. Oh, I just took this much time. Okay, so we can consider this Go as a batch separator,
Mm-hmm.
which will separate the batch, which will like tell SQL Server Management Studio to execute the code written above the Go statement as a single batch of code.
Okay.
Why it is taking this much time? Let's cancel it. Okay, but whenever you use that Object Explorer to script any code or any table procedure, it will always give you the uh, Go at the end.
Okay.
Okay, so the next topic we are going to start is like
So one more question. The limit function and the top function, is this both same or
which one?
the top select top two from any data sets or
Mhm.
limit, is this same thing or different?
Yes, same thing, but limit is not supported in SQL Server.
Yeah, that's what I yeah in yeah
Limit is in MySQL.
yeah yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
both are same. But in MySQL we have the limit keyword. In SQL Server we have the top keyword.
So we don't have top in my SQL then,
In
right?
MySQL we don't have. Right.
What about Postgres? Same?
Postgres we have top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In Postgres, we have top function. Okay. So the topic we are going to start is temporary table. So what is a temporary table, or we can say just temp tables? Okay. So now the name suggests here, right? The name is temporary. So a temporary table is a table that is created to store the data for temporary period. Okay. So what is the temporary period? While a query or process is running. Okay. So for that particular query batch window, we can store the data. Okay, the table will be created and it will be deleted after the query executed.
Okay.
Okay, this is same like CTE. So CTE also we are going to store the data for temporary period. Okay, but CTE can be used only once right after the CTE creation, right? Or CTE can be used only once after it is created in the insert and update, delete or select statement. Okay, but temporary tables we can use in the entire batch of code anywhere. Okay, within
Okay.
the window, we can use the template table in any SQL statements, not immediately after that. Okay, so we can consider this as like our rough notebook. Okay, like while solving the book, like exercise, or we can say the long, like long exercise, you will write something in a rough notebook. What you will do is you will solve calculations. You will do the calculations for the mathematics and all into a rough notebook, right? And then that same thing you will replicate into the main notebook, or we can say like you will just keep this rough notebook away.
Mhm.
Okay, or we can say you will throw it away. So this is the temporary tables are mostly used for calculations. Okay, because we'll be having the huge data into the main tables like billions of records. So you want to take some part of the data into some temporary tables. You perform your calculations like aggregations, grouping, whatever, filtering and all, like window functions and all. You apply that into the temporary data set like what we can say the limited data set, and then once your data operations are complete, once your calculations are complete, you will just use that data to get the final results or something like that. Okay,
Like
so
a sample data set from whole population.
right, but this is not a sample data set in real time. It will be a filtered data set, we can say. Okay, as per the requirement from the main set of data, like millions of records, you are filtering the data, you are taking that out, because see, you are doing the grouping or aggregations. Okay, grouping aggregations on like 10 million records.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that will definitely take more time. And the same thing, okay, you don't want to do that on entire data set. Okay, but there is a filter you are having. So from this 10 million, there are only, let's say 30K rows we are having, which we actually need to take for the grouping and aggregations. So if you directly use this table and apply the where clause there, still it will process all the rows. And from that rows, it will take 30K rows. Okay. Instead of that, what you will do is you will take that 30K rows into a temp table. Okay. Then perform calculations.
Okay.
Okay. And then maybe what we can do is use the final data for report. Okay, so in this case, you just need to process only the 30K rows. Okay, you don't have to aggregate all the rows, 10 million rows every time. Okay, let's say you are having multiple operations below and you have to perform multiple calculations for the same data set. Okay, so you will be going to read the 10 million rows every time. So that will definitely take time. So that is the reason we use CTEs, temporary tables, or one more we are having called a table variable. So these all are the like used for storing the data for temporary period. But there are like characteristics of all of them, where to use CTE, where to use the temporary table, and where to use the table variable. Okay, so CTE, like we have seen, whenever you are having the use of that filter data only once. Let's say you know like you have to use only once the filter data, you can go with a CT. But you know like there are multiple calculations we are having on the same set of data. You have to do some update. Okay, you have to do some select using Windows. Okay, you have to calculate here. Then you have to do some insert that data into some another table. Okay. And then maybe again you have to some delete statement from the main table to delete that data. So multiple operations we are having on the same set of data. So you cannot use the CTE, because with the CTE you can take this 30K rows out of this 10 million, but you can use either in a one statement, maybe update, maybe select, insert, or delete. Not this cannot be used in all the statements, right? That is what the functionality of the CTE. We can use only once the CTE is created. Okay, so if you have to use the data multiple times, you can go with temporary tables, because temporary tables can be used within a query window as many times as needed. Okay, so that is what the temporary table. A temporary table is a table that is created to store the data for temporary period while a query or the process is running. Okay, so when it can be used, it can be used to storing immediate result. Okay, you want to store the result of the query. Okay, you have to break the complex queries into smaller parts. Okay. So this is what your need is. But instead of running all together, you are breaking that into pieces and you are solving one by one. Okay, then improving readability. Okay, as I mentioned, this 10 million rows you are getting by joining, like let's say 10 tables. Okay, so for getting this 10 million rows, you are joining 10 tables. From that 10 tables join, you have to take the 30K rows back. Okay, let's say now you are having this 10 million rows and you are having these many statements. So every time you have to join 10 tables here. Okay, if you are not using the uh, template tables or CT. So join 10 tables to get that data and update. Okay, join 10 tables to get that data and select the data using window functions. Again, join 10 tables to insert the data. So, you know, like this code will be more complex. Again and again, you are repeating the same set of tables, joins, and everything. Okay, so instead of that, you will take this data from these 10 tables into some temporary table. Okay, and you will use only one table here. So that will be like more readable, right? It will not make your queries complex. Okay, so improving readability as well is one of the case where you will use the temporary table. Okay, then next, what we can again, so reusing same set of data multiple times. Okay, as we have seen the example, you have to use the same set of data in update, insert, delete, and again some other statements as well. So you can reuse that data and obviously improving the performance. Okay, in some scenarios. So let's say you want to improve the performance, you can go with the temporary tables instead of reading the main tables. It will take less time. Okay, so this is what the use cases we can having where we can use it. Okay, so yeah, this is what the temporary tables. So there are two types of temporary tables we are having. One is a local temporary table. Okay, and this will always start with single hash. Okay, so now this, as this is a table, all the remaining things will be same as a normal table. So create syntax, delete syntax, insert syntax, update syntax. So everything will be same as normal table, like whatever how we do for the normal table, how to create a normal table using create syntax. Okay, insert, update, all the syntax will be exactly same. Only the thing is, while giving the name to the table, we use hash at the start. Okay, so the this local temporary table, we can say starts with hash. Okay, then visible only to the current session. Okay, we will understand what is this. So this will be visible only to the current session. And the third one, the point I will mention is automatically delete.
Sir, it will store in our this database object.
Yes, this will be stored, but again for the temporary period. Okay, so I will just show you session ends. Okay, so it is saying like it is start with hash, it is visible only to the current session and automatically deleted when the session ends. Okay, so it is saying like it will automatically deleted when the session ends. So let's see one example. I will create one table, sample table.
Okay.
Called employee, create table. Now as mentioned, like syntax will be similar to the normal table, only the name, it will start with hash. So this will be considered as a temporary table, and that is a local temporary table. So I will create this, let's say employee ID integer. Okay, then just a normal table I'm trying to create with two or three columns I will create. Okay, after 25. And then let's say we are having a table called salary, which is of, let's say, money data type. Okay, so when I execute this, a table will be created. Now you see here, we are executing this under 1031 database. Okay, execute this and we will see where is this table. So let's start from employee table, but this is a temporary table. So we have to give the, so table is created. Okay, let's check whether this table is there in the 1031 database. Okay, we don't see any table with hash, right? We don't see table. So where these tables will be created? So temporary tables will be always created under a temporary database. Okay. So where is the temporary database? That is under system databases. Under system database, there is a database called tempdb. So whatever the temporary tables you are creating, that will be always created under this tempdb. Okay, you can see the tables. So refresh this. Oh, it is not, it is a template table, not the normal table. Okay, so you can see the table is here. Okay, and this is the table name we are having. Okay, we can see we were having these three columns under this table. Okay, I don't think we are able to see that structure there.
So can we directly go in table and create a table in the same way, or
No,
if I
it is
select
not
instead
needed
of
to. Yeah, it is not needed to go to the temporary DB and create the table. So whenever a temporary table is created in this server, okay, in whatever DB, that will be always created under the temporary database.
So if we create any table inside tempdb, so that is also a temporary table, right? Either way we can create then.
No, any
Oh.
table not. The table that is created with the hash symbol is a temporary table. So no matter where you are creating.
So if we have already employee table in 1031, so will it be created or not as a duplicate table? Because it goes into temp table. You understand what I mean?
No, can you repeat again?
If I have already a table that is employee under 1031, and I want to create
Okay.
temporary table, same name, that employee, so will it be created or not? because
It
it
will
is
be created, right? Because we this employee table is already there in this database. Okay, in 1031.
Oh, yeah. So it doesn't
But
matter if it is duplicate, right?
right, because
The
this is a
schema.
temporary table. This is not a normal table.
Okay, okay.
Because we have given the hash at the start of the name. So by the name only, the SQL server will distinguish the tables. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So whenever we have hash at the start of the name of the table, that
Mm-hmm.
will be considered as a temporary table.
So
Again,
does temporary table have any the schema? Is the hash is a schema or what is that?
yes, it is a DBO schema because we have not
Oh,
mentioned, so it will
okay.
by default created under DBO schema.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, like the normal table, we cannot create the temporary table with the same name
Hmm.
because it is already exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it cannot be created with a same name again. Now, this is what the SQL Server local template table start with hash. Okay,
Okay.
it is always created under the template database. Okay, now second point, it is visible to only the current session. Okay, what does it mean? So when I execute the select query, I was able to see the data. Let's insert some sample data so we can see the data as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I will insert some data. Insert into this, and then I will just take the values. One, let's give some name, Rahul 500. Another record I will insert two. Insert some name as, yeah, give some salary. Okay, execute this and two records got inserted. We can see that here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now let's focus on the second point. It is saying like visible only to the current session. So when I execute the query in the current session, I was able to see the data. When I execute the same query in the another query window, it will throw error saying invalid object name. Okay, so the temporary tables are not all the temporary tables. I will say the local temporary tables are visible only to the current session. So in which session the table is created, that will be visible under the temporary table will be visible under that particular session only. When you try to see the table in another query window, it will throw the error, no matter which query window you are trying to see. It will always throw the error only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the table is not exist, that is what it will show. Okay, so this is the second point.
Mm-hmm.
The local temporary tables are visible only to the current session. Okay, we will not be able to see the temporary table here in the another query window. Okay, then third one is automatically deleted when the session ends. Okay, now what is meant by session ends? So let me just copy this, else I will lose the data. Okay, I'm copying this all and I'm just closing this session here. You see the table is present here. Once I close this session, okay, and I will just refresh this here, you will see the table is now removed. We don't see the table now. Okay, table is deleted from this temporary database. Okay, so that is what. So this third point is it will automatically delete when the session ends. Okay, so the temporary tables will get removed once you close the connection or the session or the query window in which the table is created. Okay, it will automatically delete it, and that because of all this reason, it is called as a temporary table. Okay, it is visible to the particular session. It will be automatically deleted when the session is ending there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any question?
So which one is most usable in real case, the CTE or this time table? Which one is so?
If your data set is small, okay, whatever the data set you are filtering is a small and you have to use that only once, you can go with the CTE. Okay. But if your filtered data set is also like from the billions of records, you are after filtering, you are getting, let's say, like 100K records. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to reprocess those multiple times. So we go with temporary tables. Why temporary table is now? because the first thing is you have to use that same data set multiple times, which is not possible by the CTE. Okay, else you have to write the CTs at every point, like every statement, right? So that is not a valid, or we can say that that is not a feasible way. Another reason is like on a template table, we can do everything like what we are able to do into the normal tables. Like we can create constraints, we can create uh, indexes. Okay, we can add columns, we can remove the columns. So all those things we can do. So it is more beneficial to use the template tables rather than CT. If your data set is huge and you have to reuse the same set of data again and again, you will always go with the template tables.
Where do we use this thing mostly in store procedure or where?
Yes, whatever we are learning, right? So everything will be used in the stored procedures.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, I'll show some procedures that I was created. Maybe I have anything. Don't have anything in this procedure which is using template table. Okay, so here I have some template tables. So I'm creating one table. I'm taking the data into the template table by joining these tables, and there, if you see, there is a multiple where clause we are having, multiple filter conditions we are having. So that all data we are filtering, and only the filtered data I'm taking into the template table. Okay, so now let's say this filtered data you have to use multiple times, like this I am doing here. So filtered data I am using for update. So whatever the data I'm getting, so for all that data I have to update the status to 13. So instead of template table, what I was needed to do here, if I'm not taking that data, I have to filter the data like this. Okay, so update again where clause, update again where clause. So this is not a good way because we are repeating the same set of statement again and again. And if it is not just repeating the statement, okay, we are using the huge data set to insert the data, and from that huge data set, we are filtering that. So rather than doing this, what if we filter the data once, store somewhere, and use that data everywhere, right? So you don't have to read that tables again and again.
Yeah.
Again, it will, if you are reading that once and storing the data into some template tables, it is saving your time, cost, okay, query execution time, query execution cost, to execute the query again and again, right? Because you have the filtered data. So this is how to use the template tables, CTEs, or table variables in stored procedures. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but this is useful in procedures and function whenever you are creating, because you have to store this data. You will be dealing with billions of records in real time. Okay, it will not be like sample records of 20, 30 rows and all. So by the time you don't need to have these template tables and all. But if you are having huge data and your queries is taking time, you need to use these template tables. Okay. Then another type we are having is a global temporary table. Okay, so that will start with double hash. Okay, but this is not much used. We use in real time the what is that? The local temporary table only, not the global. Okay, so it will start with double hash. The difference I'm showing, and it is not visible to only the current session. It can be accessed by all the sessions. Okay, and it will be deleted once the session ends. With which session ends? The session ends in which the table is created. Okay, so whenever you create the table, if that session is ends, so it will be deleted. So I'm creating a one global template table just to see invalid object. Okay, so we have to use this double.
Mhm.
It's already created and the data might be inserted here. So let's check. We don't have the data. Let me insert. Okay, this is the data we are having now. This is a global template table. Okay, now let's check if the table is created. Okay, it is created here. Now same thing, if I can access into another query window, yes, you will be able to see the data. Okay,
Okay.
another query window, you will be able to see the data. Okay, so I'm closing this. So this is still I'm able to see the data, but as soon as I close the query window in which the table is created. Okay,
Okay.
so in this query window, we have created the table. I'll close this. And now if I select the data, it will throw the error. So now the table is deleted. So how this is working? It is deleting the table when the session ends in which the table is created.
So
Okay.
if we want to do any performance on any other, you know,
Yeah, for debugging, you can
section,
use these tables. Okay. You have to like
we can open that thing.
check and validate the data in another query window. You can use this template tables, global template tables. But again, in procedures, we will not use this kind of table. Mostly we'll go with, I would say 100% we'll go with the local template tables. Okay, because our intention is just to store the data for local period. It is not required to see the data in other query window and all.
So in the real business case scenario, which one is mostly used, the global or local?
Local only.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the difference between permanent and temporary tables we can say?
The different permanent table is for permanent use, and temporary is just for the session. For if we want to, um, we use this temporary table for those data sets which has billions of records, and we if we want uh, to perform some query for from out of that
Yeah, correct.
billions
So
of
what
data.
in short we can say is the permanent tables will be stored permanently, right? Temporary tables will be stored temporarily. Okay.
Yeah.
Then one more difference we can say is like permanent table will be available to everyone. Whoever having the
Yeah.
access, they can access the temporary tables anywhere, right? So let's say you are working on a common server. Okay, I'm working on my computer, you are working on your computer. Okay, and we are having a common server. So if a table is created, you can also access the table. I can access also the same table, but that is not case with the temporary tables. So temporary tables usually will be available only for the current session,
Current
right?
session for the
No
current
one
use.
will access that. Yeah. Then for the dropping, the permanent table must be dropped manually, right? So we have to write the drop command to drop those tables,
Yeah.
right? Else it will not be dropped automatically.
Yeah.
Okay. But the temporary tables will be automatically removed once the session is closed.
Yeah.
And last we can say like for permanent table, we will not have any prefix into the name, but temporary tables will be created with either hash or double hash in the
Yeah.
prefix.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is what this temporary tables is. Okay, the other all things we can create index, we can add the columns, we can remove the column, we can add the constraints into the temporary tables. All the things we can do like normal. Okay, we can use alter table command of to add the column. Let's say I'm adding age integer. Okay, so we can add the column into the temporary table. Okay, the table is deleted, so I just need to recreate it. Okay, we can add the column there. Let me add this now and see the data. I can add the columns. Okay, if you want to add the constraint, we can add the constraint. Alter table employee add constraint. Let's say UQ. employee, and let's say ID. So employee ID is unique. I need to mention. So I'll just add unique and then employee ID. So I can add the constraints. I can add the indexes. Anything we can do like a normal table here. Okay. On the temporary tables. Okay. So yeah, we can even we can create the tables like on the go as well. Like we know how to create the tables using select into statement, right?
Mhm.
So select into from, let's say I'm taking the data from AdventureWorks 2025, human resource dot employee table. I want to take the data into some temporary table called uh, adventures employee. Okay, so I can create the table like this as well. So this is a temporary table created, and we have copied the data as well from the AdventureWorks database. Okay, so all the things we can do like a normal tables. Only the thing is that these tables will be dropped automatically once the session is closed.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the only limitation we are having. We cannot say the limitation, that is an advantage for the calculations.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, this is all about the template tables. Tomorrow we will see the table variables, the third one, and then we will go through the difference between all of those three, which is used for storing the data for temporary CTE, template table, and the table variable.
Okay.